Ladies and gentlemen, the Independent Retailer Conference would like to welcome Tim Ogle, President of Open to Buy Wizard LLC, and Tim is going to share with us Open to Buy reasons and choices. Please let's give a warm Independent Retailer Conference welcome to Tim Ogle.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much. We've been in business for 15 years, but this morning we have 15 minutes to share with you. So we're going to try and anticipate your questions and answer them as we go along. But if you do have additional questions at the end of the seminar, by all means stay around. We'll stay as long as it takes to get your questions answered. This morning we're going to keep it very simple, just the big picture, no nuts and bolts. But unless you were here yesterday, you're going to hear some things about open to buy planning that you have never heard before, and you should find very interesting. Anybody here own their own shop or a portion thereof? All right, we're going to be talking about your money, the amount of it that you invest in inventory and the return that you get from that investment. And you may be thinking, well, what does open to buy have to do with the bottom line? Well, 15 minutes from now, make that 14 minutes from now, you're going to know the answer to that question. And you will also know whether you should consider upgrading your own open to buy method and how to go about making that selection from all the methods that are out there. I want to say something right up front here. There's two kinds of open to buys. One of them is a replacement system and the other is a forecasting system. We're not going to be discussing replacement systems. If that's all you have, if that's all you need, your POS company probably already has it, and you could probably spend your time more profitably somewhere else. This seminar is for retailers, particularly in the fashion industry or similar industries, that must forecast their inventory needs in advance and place advance orders. We're going to touch on three primary topics: the reasons for having an open to buy, the methods of calculating an open to buy, and all of the choices that are available to you out there and how to sort that out. So first topic, the reasons for having an open to buy. And here it is in a nutshell: to avoid overbuying, which leads to overstocking, which leads to excess markdowns, which damage the bottom line. You may be thinking, well, how much damage could a little inventory here and there do to the bottom line? I'm going to show you a history of a real shop in a few more slides, and the difference that it made in their case was $25,000 to $40,000 per year. Think about it. Almost every retail performance standard in your shop is dependent on inventory levels. If you can improve your inventory levels, you can improve your stock to sales ratio, your return on investment, your cost of goods sold, your gross margin, your balance. Everything depends on inventory control. What you all are doing as retailers is not easy. In order to avoid the unthinkable, or just to be the best we can be, we have to get at least the big pieces right. And in the retail business, especially the fashion business, or any kind of a store that needs advanced planning, inventory management is one of the big pieces, if not the big piece. Topic number two, open to buy methods. Well, the simplest breakdown is this: you can either hire someone to do it for you, or you can do it yourself. If you hire someone to do it for you, I am convinced they will do a good job, they will improve your retail performance, but they are expensive. By a show of hands, how many people in here calculate your own open to buy using a spreadsheet or something like that? I'm going to tell you something that may be a little sensitive for you, because I know I was sensitive about this when we were still using spreadsheets. Far and away, the most costly of all the options out there for calculating an open to buy is a manual method: spreadsheet, calculator, and so forth. And let me tell you why I'm comfortable saying that. This is a graph of the very first shop that ever used our software. It covers a 10-year period from 1996 to 2005. We have the first 3 years are color-coded so that you can see those are the years we were using spreadsheets, just for contrast. And if you can see the fine print, you'll notice that this shop, which was a resort golf shop, did a pretty consistent 43% gross margin. In the retail business, that's kind of a ho-hum performance, but in the golf business, with member discounts and other things, that's incredibly good performance. We did not think that that could be improved. And here's how we did it. On our spreadsheets, we calculated 8 major departments, or categories, whatever you want to call them. Ladies apparel, men's apparel, footwear, headwear, equipment, clubs, and so forth. So here's the challenge that the buyer had. Let's say she's got $40,000 open to buy in October in ladies apparel. Where's she going to put that money? What is she actually going to buy? There's 8 subclassifications under ladies apparel. There's ladies tops, ladies bottoms, ladies sweaters, ladies fleece, ladies outerwear. What's she going to do? Well, she did what just about every other buyer is doing in the country right now. She gave it her best professional estimates. And we had no reason to believe that they weren't excellent estimates. This was a well-managed shop both before and after they started using our software. They had been recognized as one of the top 100 golf shops in the nation for 6 straight years, and part of that was their financials. In 1999, the first blue column, we installed the software. And at the end of that year, when we crunched the numbers, we were quite frankly very surprised to see a 5% jump in gross margins and all the other retail performance standards as well. We charted the gross margins because that's where the money is. 5% in a $500,000 shop is $25,000. And you can see it was not a one-time anomaly. They had reached an entire new plateau of retail performance. They even had more incremental improvements for the next 6 years, up to an 8% improvement over the baseline, which is $40,000. You may be thinking, okay, we're kind of with you, but don't understand exactly what the mechanics are that make software so much more efficient than spreadsheets. And here it is, folks. Here's the key to the cash drawer. With software, we were not inhibited in any practical sense on the number of classifications that we could calculate. So we calculated every one of them, 32. So this shop, for this period of time, every time, say, a trend started to develop, and maybe one subcategory started selling a little bit more than planned, and another one a little bit less than planned. At the end of every month, when the point of sale raw data is injected into the open to buy calculus, the entire forecast was regenerated right back to the optimum lines. So this particular shop, for every month of every year in every classification, never had too little inventory and never had too much. They were always very close to the optimum inventory line. And I'm going to admit to you that I am not smart enough to have foreseen all of this. We learned by doing. In retrospect, we now know that the difference between estimating subclassification purchases and calculating the amount of those purchases was $25,000 to $40,000. In retrospect, we know that the $25,000 to $40,000 was the cost of the spreadsheets that we had been using. Didn't have to write a check for the spreadsheets. It was lost opportunity, the cost of lost opportunity. And would you guess that this was accomplished with more or less inventory? If you guessed less, you would be correct. That very first year, the average inventory for the entire year dropped from $101,000 to $86,000. That's $15,000 that this shop kept in the bank instead of having it stacked up in the storeroom. So here's the takeaway. If you want optimum or maximum profits, you must have optimum inventory, and not just in a few classifications. You must have it in every classification. And folks, I don't know any practical way to do that except with database-driven, high-speed processors software. This is the high-tech solution for do-it-yourselfers. It replaces the abacus, the hand calculator, and the spreadsheet in the evolution of technology. And it's affordable for even the very smallest independent retailers. If this makes sense to you so far, the method that we've isolated here, and it's going to be the ideal method for the vast majority of independent retailers. If it makes sense, then the rest is up to you. And here's why I say that. Up to this point in this presentation, everything we've talked about has been hopefully informative and educational. From this point forward, it's 100% a matter of personal opinion. And nobody's opinion counts except yours. There's more than one software company out there. When we started 15 years ago, there was 2 of us. Now there's, I don't know how many. And researching their websites, they're all very different. So here's what I suggest. Go to Google, plan on spending an hour on the web. If you can increase your bottom line by any substantial amount for the next foreseeable years, that will be an hour very well spent. Go to Google and type in these 4 words, open to buy software, in that order. That's the method. That's the method that we discussed on the last slide. The results that come up when you do that search will be the providers of that method. Pick 3 or 4 or 5. Look at the brief descriptions and look at the ones that may be the answer for your shop, that may be suitable for you, and do your research. Use a checklist. Be methodical. We have some checklists on the table over here. Pick one up on your way out of the room. In the left-hand column are the features of an open-to-buy system that may be important to you. In the right-hand columns are the notes you take when you're researching the various providers. Do your homework and make a selection. In conclusion, if you are absolutely 100% convinced, or even if you just thought it was a possibility that you could improve your bottom line significantly by upgrading your open-to-buy method, would you prove it to yourself? I haven't proven anything to you. I have showed you how we proved it to ourselves, but nothing is a convincer like doing it yourself and seeing the results. Everybody's not going to make $25,000 to $40,000, obviously. Some of you will. Some of you, it may be less than that. For others, especially if you have a larger shop, it could be quite a bit more than that. But here's one thing I can guarantee you. If you have been calculating only partial classifications in your open-to-buy method, and you upgrade to a system where you can calculate every classification, whatever retail performance standard you've been on, you're going to rise to an entirely new plateau. Thank you all for your attention. I'm going to be doing this seminar one more time tomorrow morning. Pick up a checklist and a business card on the way out and have a fantastic show.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions?